I've been a creator since graduating college in 2006. And what that means is I make things and put them on the internet for other people to enjoy. And it started with music videos. I was making a lot of music videos, and I started working on a music video for an electronic record that I had been making. And I kind of went down a rabbit hole on this music video and this electronic record. I was going to Home Depot every day to build this set. I wanted to build a replica of the Millennium Falcon cockpit behind me, and I wanted to have all these panels up, and I wanted to have 2 robots walk out of these elevators and jam out with me on MIDI controllers. Like, I went crazy on this video. And I ended up doing it. It worked. Like, I built the replica, got the robots, they played the MIDI controllers. Took me 3 months of my life. By the end of this process, I had spent about 10 grand on the video. I drained my savings account. Basically had nothing left. And I put out the video on YouTube. And what I realized at the end of this process was, this video will get 1 million views. My paycheck for that will be $166, which is the average monthly ad revenue that I was getting at the time. And the thought of being paid less than $200 for it, I snapped. And I sat down at my kitchen table one Sunday afternoon, and I sketched out this idea on 14 pieces of printer paper for a better way for artists to get paid, to make a living, to turn their dreams and hobbies into actual real businesses. And I showed it to my freshman year roommate in college. He got super excited about it, started building it that night. And one thing led to the next. He built the whole thing by himself in about 2.5 months. We launched, and within 2 months of launching the website, I was the first creator on Patreon. Within 2 weeks of launching, I was making 6 figures as an artist. I didn't change my music, I didn't change my videos, I didn't change my content strategy. I just put up a Patreon page, and suddenly I was making a killing as an artist. And all these other creators and artists saw that and started signing up on Patreon. And now here we are, 9 years later, and yeah, we've sent over $4 billion to creative people around the world. We're sending over $1.5 billion a year, 250,000 creators on the platform, making recurring revenue from over 9 million patrons, and teams about 400, and we're building products to fund the creative class. The way that Patreon works for a creator is that creators can set up benefits, which are what they offer their fans. Think of each benefit as like a product. And they can offer benefits to their fans in exchange for that subscription payment. A benefit might be an extra live stream every month, or an extra episode of content, or an AMA session on Zoom with the creator. And then we allow creators to bundle those benefits together in tiers, which gives creators a lot of flexibility in how they price their offering and what types of goods and services they can monetize with their patrons. There's so many examples of creators who have just done incredible things on Patreon. I think one of my favorite examples is a group called Chapo Trap House, who's literally, making hundreds of thousands of dollars on the platform. And they offer a podcast for free, and then one of their podcasts is behind a paywall. Another example is Titan Forge, totally different end of the spectrum. They offer 3D printed figurine schematics to their patrons every month. Not 3D printed figurines, 3D printed figurine schematics. And then another example would be SciShow and Crash Course. And what they do is free education for the world. So SciShow is science education, available for free on YouTube for anybody who wants it. And they allow patrons to sign up and get extra benefits in exchange for their subscription payment. I believe power is shifting away from institutions and toward individuals. If you look at where consumer trust is going, a lot of people think consumer trust is at an all-time low. But actually, I don't think that's true. I don't think consumer trust is at an all-time low. It's just shifting away from enterprises and toward individuals. So who do consumers trust? They trust creators. They trust Casey Newton. They trust Molly Bass. They trust individuals who aren't constrained in their communications and are real human beings. And instead of speaking like companies, they speak like people. And Patreon, in many ways, is a method of empowering that shift. I think the trend that we're largely seeing is the ability for an individual to have a democratized tool set, both financially and from a distribution perspective, that allows them to scale their own SMB. We're in the middle of a transformation right now in terms of what Patreon offers to our creators. It started about 5 years ago when we began to see this transition in the world happening. Before that, we went to market as a payments company. Creators come get paid. That was kind of our rallying cry. And it still is Patreon's mission. But there are so many ways to support that mission and so many types of infrastructure that can be built for creators that will help them get paid. And so about 5 years ago, we started making this transition to focus more first on content and community, and then thirdly, commerce. Those are kind of the three initial blocks of features that we want to offer creators more than just payments, which is where we started. So for example, when Patreon launched, we didn't have a way to host native video. We actually just shipped that. After that, coming in 2023 is a community offering. That's helping patrons connect with each other and helping creators build direct relationships with their patron base. So, what I want next and what I'm really starting to see and feel is over the last couple years, our vision for that economic freedom of creative people is really coming true. Not just because of Patreon, but now that philosophy and that market demand is spreading to every top of funnel mass media platform in the world. And what I think is going to happen over the next 10 years is an event for humanity that is orders of magnitude bigger than the first Renaissance. We call it the second Renaissance. It will be a renaissance of creativity and ideas and output unlike anything this planet has ever seen. It will involve billions of people and hundreds of millions of creators who become full-time professional artists. As that happens over the next 10 years, those people are going to need infrastructure. They're going to need everything you can possibly imagine that an SMB would need, but tuned for a small business media company. To balance my career as CEO and as a creator myself is a feat of juggling, for sure. And I've learned a lot about how to do that well over the last 9 years. I think it's rare that a creator gets to be in charge of one of these platforms. It's rare that a creator is at the helm of one of these companies. And I think that's an opportunity for creative people. And I don't want to lose touch with who I am and where I came from. I feel a tremendous responsibility to do right by my people. And I want to keep that front and center as the company scales.